Welcome back to the Hoops Temple podcast. Y'all know me, Nathan Schwartz. And joining me to talk about the Derek Whitehead resurgence and the fact that I accidentally put our intro on loop is Aaron Schroeder and Dylan Williamson. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Fantastic, Nate.
Doing good. Tuned so nice you had to play it twice.
Hell yeah. Shout out Animal Liberation Orchestra and their track Lady Loop. Always love the fact that our former podcast co-host went to their show, asked them if we could use this, and they said, yeah, no problem, Richard. We got you.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
I actually did not know that.
Putting in the groundwork.
Oh, yeah.
For what we would eventually become.
That's what Richard's good at. Yeah, but gentlemen, speaking of putting in the groundwork, we've just had 82 games worth of groundwork. We know our matchups. Some of them. We're recording this in the middle of the Western Conference last games. Most of these games are cruising into halftime. But we have an Eastern Conference playoff bracket.
Yay.
It's incredible that the season's so long and has so much meaningless games, and then you've still got to wait till the last day of the season to get the standings.
I couldn't believe that not a single matchup was determined until tonight. Not a single matchup. We didn't even know all of the play-in things. Things could have flipped around on tonight, and that's ridiculous.
They still can. I'm a believer in the Sacramento Kings. They are going to light the beam and get the Clippers that 8 seed.
You're down by 20 at the moment. Let up 77 points in one half. They're getting there. They're working on it. Hey, the Bulls gave up 80 points in a half, but that's not the worst.
I mean, the Atlanta Hawks let Miami put up 140 points in this game, which, yeah, I get it. It's hard to stop a team with an elite scorer like Bam Adebayo.
One of the greats.
The game's gone, guys. The game's gone. These box scores have been just preposterous.
Listen, it goes Wilt, Bam, Kobe for a reason.
Right.
That reason's the Washington Wizards.
That reason is Brian Keefe will go down as one of the worst coaches in NBA history.
Can I just say, listen, I understand that my lights kind of wash me out a little bit, but I look at Brian Keefe and I kind of see a bit of myself. He's got the beard, he's got the bald head, but then I watch him do things. And I listen to him talk. I'm like, you know what? I got to distance myself. What can I do? Can I get like a scar? Should I tattoo my head? How do I make myself look as different from Brian Keefe as possible?
Brian Keefe is currently 43 and 159. Jesus Christ. He's a 58 games below 500, which is actually only 14th, the 14th worst all time. Dead last is Byron Scott.
What's most impressive about him is that he managed to keep his job purely because he was really bad at his job. Like if he had done a better job, if he had been passable, they would have had to fire him. But the fact that they wanted to lose as many games as possible, and he was such a terrible coach, they're like, let's just keep him on. This guy fucking stinks, but like it's kind of good for us.
That's the end goal for them. I'll mention that Bill Fitch is 81 games under 500, the third worst, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So actually, we actually need to go get worse than this.
I was going to say, didn't Byron Scott make some NBA finals? Wasn't he the Nets coach with Jason Kidd? Am I getting him and Brian Shaw flipped up again?
Yeah, no, he was back to back with Jason Kidd, but coached he coached the post LeBron Cavs and then the bad Kobe Lakers and just tanked his record.
Man, I wanted to be a Lakers coach so bad. But real quick, since we've already mentioned the Wizards, even though I had planned to save this for scrap if we had time, I do just want to say that on top of the East having an amazing season this year, where they pulled neck and neck with the Western Conference, they will have more teams finish above 500 in the Western Conference. They are vastly improved as a conference. They have also managed to capture the 3 worst records, with the Wizards, Pacers, and Nets all finishing worse than any Western Conference team, which means, in theory, unless they all get fucked like the Pistons do every year they're in the lottery, they might get the top 3 picks of this year with generational talent.
I really hope the Pacers don't get that. That one would sting. They were just in the finals, guys. They don't need that. But it is an interesting thing being a Kings fan this year and seeing like one of the worst teams and the worst team in my life or the worst team in Kings history. And we're still not as bad as those guys. And we are so terrible and unwatchable, and we lose by so much, and we're still just not even in the same tier as some of those teams like the Wizards the Wizards have been this bad for 3 years. 3 years of this kind of play. It's just insane how bad you have to be at the bottom.
It's also interesting that the East manages to get these bottom 3 teams, but it's actually the bottom of the West's own incompetence that enables them to do that. The New Orleans Pelicans should be in that running, but they traded away their first round pick, so they had no reason to tank. The Sacramento Kings are, did the most ethical tank, which is they just played normally and managed to be terrible. But if they were, better run, they'd probably be even worse. And so it's interesting that by being more incompetent than these bottom East teams, the West manages to get those better records to give themselves worse lottery odds.
Can I say that it wasn't the meaningless games at the end of the season that really screwed us or that made us so bad? It wasn't when we started playing all these bad players. It was the first half of the season we were playing our players that we sucked. That's when we were the worst team in the league.
When the Kings thought they were going to make the playoffs.
Essentially, and then our backups, the backups of our backups were better than our starters. And so we won like 9 of our last 20 games, basically.
Brutal. But
brutal.
We can say goodbye to the Pelicans, Grizzlies, Mavs, Kings, Jazz, Wizards, Pacers, Nets, Bulls, and Milwaukee Bucks. May they rest in peace and tattered pieces this year. We'll talk about Doc's firing later. Let's jump into our playoff seedings, where the Cleveland Cavaliers have secured the 4 seed, and against all probable odds, the Toronto Raptors have secured the 5 seed. During the regular season, the Raptors swept the season series, winning all 3 games, all of which were played before December 1st. The Cavaliers had 0 shooting, hitting 28% of their threes. In case you're wondering how they lost so badly, that's probably the main indicator that they just couldn't hit a freaking basket. But, gentlemen, do we think there's anything to this that gives Toronto a real shot at this? As the multi-positional defenders. Anything that you're buying from these early season games or anything else?
The Raptors really strike me as a team that's going to struggle to generate offense in the playoffs. And I think we see that kind of year by year, where if you don't have that elite on-ball scorer, Dylan hated what I was saying so fucking much he left. Sorry. And so I think that's something to watch out, especially because on the other side is Donovan Mitchell, who averages like 30 points a night, play in the playoffs year after year after year. And the Cavs have the size. They have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, and they can be physical in the paint with them. It's going to be, the Raptors have been surprising all season. I remember Bill Simmons tweeted something when he was like beefy with Kendrick Perkins and specifically mentioned with the Raptors being a top 16. I forget what the stakes were, but he's gonna have to pay up on that bet because they've surprised us all. Really, I don't think any of us liked them heading into this year, and we're gonna have to see can Brandon Ingram be your go-to guy in a 7-game series?
I'm just gonna say this: I like the Raptors' ability to defend the Cavaliers' main scorers a lot more than I like the Cavaliers' ability to defend the Raptors' main scorers. Like,
fair.
Mobley versus Ingram is kind of a weird matchup, and one that I would not expect. I expect him to spend more time on Scotty Barnes or on Pirtle or Mamukshvili. And I expect the Raptors to play a lot of small ball, which I know the Cavs have done a lot of staggering of their bigs, but there will be no time where you can play both bigs at the same time for Cleveland. The thing that does make me worried is Toronto won these games really handily with Cleveland shooting just piss poor. Well, now you got some shooters more into the rotation. You've got more guys that can space the floor. That may complicate things for the Raptors defense.
DeAndre Hunter's on the Kings, so that helps out as well.
Sure.
Darn him. It does kind of feel like a nightmare matchup for James Harden. I'm like picturing it in my mind. James Harden ISOing on the Raptors, kind of more physical and quick perimeter defenders. I don't love that for him, especially as he's gotten older. Obviously,
Game 6, Scotty Barnes versus James Harden is going to be just an absolute flame out. The question is, can the Raptors force Game 6? Because the further the series goes, the more confident I am in Toronto winning this.
If they are going to win, I think the biggest advantage for them, other than attrition and James 6 games Harden, is going to be transition. The Raptors are one of the 3 best transition teams by frequency and by efficiency, and the Cavs are a bottom 10 transition defense. And that's a whole season number. I'm sure with James Harden on the floor, they're even worse. One of the worst transition defensive players in the NBA as we speak. And so that's going to be a real advantage that Toronto really going to have to push. They're going to have to play into their strengths even more than they have throughout the regular season.
How many play?
I'm picking Toronto. I believe.
Wow, look at that.
My heart says does the Raptors have this series.
I love that. It's really bold. How many playoff games in James Harden's career do you guys think he's had more turnovers than field goals made?
He's played like 170 playoff games, right?
Sure, I believe you.
Do you not have the numbers up in front of you?
I have the number of the question that I asked, Nate. I don't have the extra numbers.
I think that's a relevant number. I'm going to say at least 20.
Dylan?
How many seasons has he played in his career? Like
18?
13?
No.
I'm going to say there's an average of 1 per season, and I'm going to guess it's 13.
26. 26 of them. I'm just tossing that out there. I've been doing like the top 10 players each season. I've seen a lot of James Harden. I've done a bunch of deep dives, and I've had a really hard time keeping all the James Harden playoff failures straight in my mind. I'm making these videos. It's just each series he's going to have like 3 good games, one mediocre one, and 2 of them that are like, oh my God, like what the hell just happened bad. And you can count on that. Like that split's going to happen.
It's so brutal, especially talking about James Harden in an all-time context. It's like every other aspect of his career, he's better than Dwayne Wade in. You want to talk about regular seasons, you want to talk about carrying teams, you want to talk about longevity, every aspect. And then you just get to the playoffs. It's like Dwayne did it in the playoffs. Dwayne won a title, leading the way. And it's like, man, the MVP doesn't matter. Everything else. I mean, like, this is all cool, but we play to win championships. And man, I want Harden to have a good series, but I see the flame out coming, and I'm picking
Maybe this
Toronto.
is the year. Maybe this is the year. Should we buy in? Should we get hurt again? Wait, I'm kind of ready. Let's do this.
He's gonna get Mamukshvili'd.
Thinking on all of Harden's notorious playoff flameouts, off the top of my head, I feel like he doesn't normally play down, as in like he will flame out, but it's against the better team. Like he whenever they are in a series where they where they're likely to lose, he ensures that they do. But I feel like he doesn't normally. I'm just scrolling through his playoff series trying to see if this adds
I have him off the top of my head. 2015, the Clippers series where he gets benched and then Josh Smith and Corey Brewer save him. And I don't think anything happens in 2016. 2017 against the Spurs, Kawhi's out. The Spurs are just ready to go home, and then they win by 40 anyways. Harden shoots like 2 of 11. I know there's the 2018 with the billion missed threes, the 2023 with the Sixers,
to the Warriors. They lose to the Warriors again.
Yeah.
Although, what's the year they lose? They lose to the Warriors with injury. Was it Durant that got hurt in that series?
2019, Durant I think misses a game, and Clay misses a game or 2.
Yeah.
They end up losing. Harden's great in that series. That's kind of like his best one against them. The other one I was going to mention was I think 2023, like the Embiid MVP year, and Jason Tatum like fucking dog walks them in Game 7. I feel bad that this has become a James Harden like playoff choking segment and not about the playoff series about to happen. But James Harden in the playoffs has been much must see TV because you never really know what you're going to get game to game.
Well, I'm gonna give you guys a moment to put in predictions. Then I say we move on into the Knicks and Hawks.
Man, Cavs in 7. I just feel bad about that immediately after saying it. It's like immediately just James Harden winning at Game 7.
Yeah, I think you got to go Cavs in 5 or Raptors in 7.
You're so right. You're so right when you say that. Okay.
They have almost the same net rating, which is crazy. You don't really think of them as being like teams in the same tier. But the Raptors have just lost every single close game. They're almost 4 games under their point differential.
I think I'm in. Yeah. Because Cavs in 5 is more likely than Cavs in 7, and I will go Raptors in 7. I'm with you, Nate. We the North.
Yeah, and a a point differential that doesn't come through in your wins is normally something that doesn't carry through to the playoffs. As in, if you're underperforming your point differential is normally a better sign of how your playoffs go, and vice versa. If you are winning way more games than what your point differential would suggest, you normally underperform in the playoffs, which is more evidence that the Cavs are going to win this series. I am going to do the illogical thing. I'm going to choose Cavs in 6.
How's that feel?
How's
that feel coming out? What's the aftertaste like?
It's feeling like a 4 for 18 game. Here we go. Where is it? Philly over Toronto. James Harden in Game 6, 7 of 12, a quiet game, and the win. That's what I'm predicting here.
I mean, to be fair, Harden is the secondary piece on this team. If Harden is flaming out, you play Donovan Mitchell 46 minutes. And you say, go for it. I personally really love the way that Toronto can match up against Mitchell. I think Shed coming off the bench or starting, either way, I actually really like it when he starts. I would rather have him start than quickly. But if he's out there alongside Scotty Barnes, they're really good defensively. Those two guys do a nice job of covering different places. Colin Murray-Boyles provides good defense off the bench. We'll see how he holds up in the playoffs. Unless it gets too bright for a rookie, but I think they've got a lot of good defensive options.
That could be where they struggle because Jakob Poeltl is a drop center, which isn't going to work against James Harden or Donovan Mitchell. And then CMB is a very good defensive player and scheme versatile defensively, but he's a rookie and he fouls a lot. And going against James Harden and Donovan Mitchell, fouling a lot is not where you want to be. And so I think that the straight up spread pick and roll could be a real weapon that the Raptors don't have a great answer for.
Especially if the Cavs 3-point shooters are hitting. But I said my pick. I'm actually going to go Raptors in 6. I think they're going to close it out, but at home as opposed to on the road. But I like it. All right. Knicks and Hawks. These two teams just played recently. We do have the Knicks getting in 2 wins, but their last game was very close. It was the way things kind of shook out. Hawks took an L today, a pretty sizable L to Miami. Do you think the Hawks are hunting the Knicks?
Wow,
that's a lot of dead air. Lot of dead air.
I wasn't prepared for that question.
Are they hunting them? I'm not sure if they're hunting them, but I think I do like the Hawks in this series. Honestly, the Hawks have great transition players and they attack the rim really well. They played great defense since Trae Young got traded. They don't have they don't have they have a lot of size to kind of go at Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns and their defensive weaknesses. And honestly, the playoffs are just about more about your weaknesses than your strengths sometimes. And while the Hawks have kind of the same question mark about their number one scoring option, and obviously Brunson has shown he can do that in previous years, I think I like the vibes around this Hawks team. I'm a vibes based analysis right now. Analyst right now.
It's interesting because the talk coming into it was what do the Cavs need to do to try to avoid the Hawks, because it really seemed like the Hawks were a terrible matchup for the Cavs, and then it ends up that they are going to get New York instead, which in theory, like, is that a even better matchup for the Hawks as an underdog?
Really, the thing that the Hawks are going to bring to this is Dyson Daniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I would take either of them defending in Jalen Brunson as kind of one of your better options, and having one of them on him and the other one roaming and playing the passing lanes. So, if Alexander Walker is providing the ball pressure, having Dyson Daniels available to pick passes is to come over and help. That's crazy. To go against Brunson. I think it's a nice matchup. The other thing is that all 5 of the Hawks starters can hit the 3. So whoever is out there is going to be able to be the screen setter, like a pick and pop screen setter, to pull Karl Anthony Towns into the action. And no matter where he wants to be, there's not a good hiding place for him. Maybe put him on Dyson Daniels and just say, we're going to live with Daniels setting screens on whoever the ball handler is, inverted guard or big pick and rolls where he sets the screen on Jalen Johnson. We'll switch that if possible. I think they're going to make Cat work. I have a hard time actually imagining the Hawks beating the Knicks, but it's an interesting matchup to say the least.
Yeah, they seem like they're in different tiers because the Raptors have sort of a B tier go-to player, and the Hawks have a B tier number one option, and the Knicks have like an A tier number one option, which normally decides series. But I mean, if you're like thinking, what do we need to stop the Knicks? A really good guard defender, got that. Ideally, a really good help defender that you can put on Josh Hart, who can make plays, where you got Dyson Daniels, one of the best at that. And a big with versatility that isn't going to get dominated in the post, but can also step out and guard on the perimeter, and they've got that as well. And so from a pure matchup perspective, games aren't played on paper, but this seems like a ideal team to be a foil to the Knicks.
In the inverse, the Hawks do have some non-scorers in their lineup up to start. I mean, Dyson Daniels is fine, but in theory, you could hide Jalen Brunson on him, and you wouldn't have to do any sort of cross-matching. Karl Anthony Towns defending, Onyeka Okongwu, probably not the worst matchup for him. Like, Okongwu is a bit undersized. Cat is going to bring length to that matchup. If Okongwu hitting threes is what dooms you, so be it. And then for the Knicks, they have OG Anunoby, who might be one of the best people to defend a Jalen Johnson, and got the size, got the strength, got the length. And I mean, he had to cut his teeth defending Giannis, because Jalen, he's not on the Giannis tier yet. So from the Knicks matchups standpoint, they do still have a lot of the answers to go up against the Hawks.
It does make me kind of worried for the Knicks in the sense of, I do think they're going to see Okongwu and want to go at him with Towns post-ups. And I don't like that idea. Like, I don't feel like that's a great offensive game plan. It's going to be so enticing. You're going to want to try that. And I think Towns is going to find himself essentially in foul trouble with the ball so much because he commits so many offensive fouls. But I do get what you're saying. A really interesting kind of middle class. I think the Knicks and the Cavs are so good last season and have been, less impressive this year. And I just, the up and coming teams kind of feel like they have the keys in a way.
I don't have my keys on me, but it call back to last time where
Yeah.
you
Ooh,
jangled the
shiny new
keys in
thing.
front of me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I did do that.
You know, the Hawks recently had one of the most impressive win streaks of the season, and I mean impressive by length of games. But then if you looked under the hood, the teams that they beat, forget what it got up to, 13 or 15 games in a row, they averaged like a 38 win percentage. Like it was truly just a god awful selection of teams that the schedule broke right. Still, you took care of business. You took care of the teams that you needed to take care of. So like the Hawks are fine. The Hawks are good. I'm just, maybe it's my preconceived notions of the Knicks that I came into the year with. I fully believe that they'll be able to kind of snap back into playoff form. I like the depth that they've added. Not that Jose's getting a ton of minutes, but Clarkson's back in the rotation a little bit. And Mitchell Robinson, I don't think he's going to get a ton of minutes in this matchup, but he has more size on the glass than anyone on the Hawks roster. And if you just need to go control the boards for a little bit, that's a lever the Knicks can pull that the Hawks don't really have a matchup for.
Yeah, no, that is a aspect that I thought about too. The Hawks are actually a pretty good defensive rebounding team because Jalen Johnson is a very good rebounder, and Okongwu has become a pretty good like box out, control the glass kind of guy. But whenever Okongwu goes to the bench, that's when their defensive rebounding struggles. And if you'd ideally want Okongwu to match up with Karl Towns, that means he's not matching up with Mitchell Robinson, which means that the Hawks become very susceptible to offensive rebounding, which is Mitchell Robinson's, skill that defines him.
Should we place our bets?
Yeah, I'm going Knicks in 5.
I kind of only said like positive things about the Hawks, and then I'm like going back. Here are all the ways the Hawks could win, and I think the Knicks will win in 6 games.
I mean, the Knicks have the profile of a very good playoff team. They're top 5 in offense and top 10 in defense. That sounds like a team that goes deep into the playoffs, and also have a top 10 player. And so I will also go with them in 5 games.
While still crowning Brunson a top 10 player. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, we'll see.
I had him
we'll
top 5 in
MVP. Halliburton's back. Oh, you did. Yeah, that's right. All right, guys. That brings us to the Eastern Conference play-in, where the 7 seed 76ers will take on the 8 seed Orlando Magic, who just fumbled the hell out of today, taking a loss to, I don't even know who played for the Celtics. Like, I know Luka Garza was their starting center.
I think Shireman had like 40
Baylor
points.
Shireman led the team. Ron Harper Jr., Jordan Walsh, and Max Shagola. Delano Banton got 37 minutes. I'm gonna have to go rewatch this game. I mean, not rewatch it. I'm gonna have to go watch this game on replay because I miss Delano Banton on Portland. I was really sad that he didn't go there or didn't stick around. But 4 blocks for Banton? It's the Banton game. In the season series, Philly is leading it 2-1. Philly, of course, will be without Joel Embiid because of appendicitis of all reasons.
Cannot catch a break.
Well, he's got to complete his checklist. He needs to eventually get every injury and every disease known to man, and only then can he finally rest. But I mean, unbelievable timing with that. I think that puts him out to, I think at the earliest he could come back like midway through the first round. Ain't gonna happen. Shaking her head. No.
I don't know. You're literally having an organ cut out of your body and then sewn back up and then asked to go run on a basketball court.
Yeah, but it's not like an important one.
No, but I'm more just like concerned about like the stitching, tearing. It's still an abdominal like surgery. This just does not sound like something you want to go through. I am really intrigued by how Philly's guards will handle Jalen Suggs, pressure there. But come on. Orlando has just been in a free fall. It feels like they want to find new ways to suck on the basketball court.
This is great.
I have defended Paolo so many times, but and even tonight they lose to Boston. Paolo puts up 23, 10 rebounds, 11 assists, 6 turnovers. He's at least positive 2 on the on-off plus minuses, but like you can't figure out a way to beat this Magic team.
Yeah, I guess not.
Or Celtics.
I guess not. This is kind of the bad vibes bowl between Philly and Orlando. Philly kind of more on the upswing, but with the Joel Embiid injury, I mean, who knows what we're going to see. I think Philly's going to win this game. I think they're going to be able to. It's hard to predict a single game, but I'm going to say they grab the 7 seed. Orlando, I mean, so much of the Paolo Banchero argument relies on a 4-game sample size in a playoff series. You got to get there. You got to get there first. They so badly need this. So, but just their offense has been in the toilet for a while now.
Man. I'm picking in Philly.
Yeah, I mean, betting on the Magic seems like the worst thing you could possibly do after they just lost to the Max Schulger-led Boston Celtics. And they also got 38 minutes out of Jalen Suggs, which he normally struggles to get his minutes up that high. 38 minutes and a +6 in a game that they lost by 5.
And 7 for 15 from 3. Suggs bombing threes, just nailing them right and left. Also, I'm noticing that Desmond Bane, I didn't watch the game, but Bane only played 18 minutes. That smells of an injury to me.
Possibly. Hey, Dylan, the Kings are only down by 10. Just toss that out there. I'll say if Orlando wins this game, they have to play Boston in the first round, which would be, kind of, you just lost to their C team. Let's see how you do against their A team. I'd probably pick Boston in 4 or 5 there, but
have we ever seen a team tank the
5 is
game?
Generous.
The Warriors are going to tank a play-in game. They're going to lose on purpose to be in the lottery.
Yeah. Let's hope Philly wins this. That way we can have a Philly-Boston series, just because I love seeing those two cities match up against each other. I feel like the hatred is real.
We need it.
That takes us to the bottom half of the play-in bracket, where we have everyone's favorite Charlotte Hornets, best net rating since January 1st or whatever the specific date is, flying up the board. The Khan, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Miller, Moussa Diabate, a team of destiny versus the second greatest individual game scorer in NBA history, Bam Adebayo and the Miami Heat.
I really like the Hornets, honestly. I'm going to say that despite them being in the bottom of this bracket, it is so interesting. So they set the record for the best net rating in wins, beating the 71 Bucks. Again, plus, I don't know what happens in their losses, but what an insane stat that is. I'll say that they're 8th in net rating. The Hornets are just kind of an objectively good team. They got off to kind of a rough start, but they have been up there as one of the 10 best teams essentially since the All-Star break, and I think they'll take care of Bambi. It would be incredibly disappointing just to lose out after such a promising season.
And in theory, in this kind of game, also the strength of your best units becomes your greatest strength because you're going to trim the rotation. And for Charlotte, how about a starting lineup with a +28 net rating, the best of any lineup that's played at least 400 minutes? The single best 5-man lineup.
Wow.
And that's the team. That's the unit that you're going to rely on most for this type of game, which I think is a strength.
Charlotte, Detroit as a 1-8 matchup could be really interesting. Really, really, really interesting, depending how Cade's feeling.
Cade's come back. He's working his way back to the rotation. They'll also the Pistons have a full week off between the games today and the start of their playoffs. So I would expect good things from Cade. I know the world will be disappointed if the Hornets don't make it past the Heat, but this is a big game. This is a single elimination. And I hate to say it, but Spo's a really good coach. And Miami has a lot of things going for them in this matchup, a lot of different options they can throw at it. Kalkbrenner's kind of been worked out of the rotation, and Grant Williams is playing a lot more for Charlotte. I don't really know who they've got that's going to defend Bam once Musa gets in foul trouble, which is going to happen in this game. And then, if it's a 3-point shootout between Khan, LaMelo, Hero, and Powell, the money has got to be on Charlotte. But I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the Heat in this one.
You mentioned 3-point shootout, and I wanted to look into something, which is the shot profile of Miami's opponents. And it's not looking good maybe for a team to go up against a team that shoots a lot of threes, because they are very focused on taking away the rim. They are top 10 in opponent at rim frequency, but they do give up a lot of threes. And so against a team where if you give up a lot of threes, they are going to make a lot of them, that's maybe a stylistic matchup which leans more towards Charlotte again.
I love the Spo factor you mentioned, Nate. Even with Dylan pointing out like the style differences that may not favor the Heat. Like what? No way Spoelstra didn't even knew that 6 months ago when even there was a possibility he could play Charlotte in an elimination game. So I'm just you got to watch that and see what the Heat are able to change.
I guess a wrinkle in Miami's favor. We've seen Spo as one of the NBA's most prominent employers of zone defense. And, in theory, the way that you beat zone defense is having very experienced high IQ players who know how to get to the heart of the zone. And especially having a big man who can make good decisions. And that is maybe not a great description of the Charlotte Hornets. I don't see them as a particularly sort of high IQ fundamental team. And so that I could see being something that totally takes them out of their game.
It's very interesting because I feel like LaMelo is both one of the lowest IQ players in the game. Like I just made a DeMarcus Cousins video today, and I feel like there's a lot of DeMarcus mindset in LaMelo. But then every now and then he makes some just brilliant passes. And I shouldn't even say every now and then. Every game, there will be 2 or 3 boneheaded plays. And then like 2 or 3, how did you scheme this pass out? Where is the vision going? And I guess this is the fun of play-in games. Anything can happen in a single game. It's probably not worth us putting a ton of stock and mental gymnastics into this. I think my ideal way for this to come out would be Philly as the 7, Charlotte as the 8, just because I want to see Boston versus Philly. I want to see Detroit versus Charlotte. Seeing Miami again in the playoffs does nothing for me. Could Miami make the Eastern Conference Finals again because they can catch a weaker Pistons team and then get through either the Raptors or the Cavs? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's both saddening and kind of terrifying. But I'm picking with the heart. I'm saying Charlotte gets over Miami and gets over Orlando. But who knows? That's what I'm hoping.
It's so tough. I will say Eric Spoelstra, veteran of the play-in game. I think this is their 3rd or 4th straight appearance. Anyone knows how to get out of it. It definitely, certainly him and the Heat. The Heat also have a net rating of negative 24.4 in the last two playoffs. You're not interested in that, Nate? You don't want to see more Miami Heat playoff basketball?
Not really. No,
No?
it's
Negative, they lie.
it's fine.
All right. Suit yourself. Heat culture, baby.
All right. Dylan, or actually, guys, just give me your final. Who's making it out of the East, and who scares you the most from the East play-in?
I'm with exactly what you said. I think Philly's going to beat Orlando, and then Orlando's going to go down. They're going to lose to Charlotte, who already beat Miami, and we'll have that 7 and 8.
Absolutely, and I think I agree with you that that makes for the most interesting possible first round matchups.
If you were the Pistons or the Celtics, is there any matchup that you don't want to see and or scares you the most?
Has to be Charlotte, right? It has to be Charlotte. We've laid that out on how they have played as well as anybody, and they have that lineup. You're gonna get so many minutes of the best lineup in basketball, and it'd be horrifying if I was a Pistons fan, just because of how the end of the season's gone, and with Cade's injury and working back from that. If it's the Heat, I mean, it's Pistons in 4. Could we finish the series in 3? There's no chance. Like, the Heat have a playoff series win, and it has to be Charlotte.
Yeah, I mentioned net rating being a stronger indication of playoff success than necessarily win-loss record. Charlotte is 7th in the league in net rating, better than Denver, better than Cleveland, better than Toronto, better than the Lakers. And so if I'm saying that that's a good reflection of true team quality, then absolutely I want no part of Charlotte.
I will say my pick would have been Philly if Embiid is healthy. If I could get a guarantee he comes back after game 1, even, I think I'm with Philly, given Embiid and Maxey, Paul George, and what they have going on there.
I like that. I can see that. I mean, I think any one of the Eastern Conference play-in teams, aside from the Orlando Magic, could give the Pistons a run, depending on how the Cade reintegration comes. If he shows up and he's playing just as good as earlier, and how good Duren played with his absence, and just how much the Pistons clamped people down. The Ron Holland minutes were great. He did in a couple of games. No one's got a chance. But if there is a struggle to reintegrate Cade, can't fully make it back, which happened to CJ, where he came back. CJ McCollum, when he came back from his collapsed lung, it recollapsed later, and he was out again. If something like that happens, instantly I start to get worried about, could Miami pull off the upset? Could Philly pull off the upset? Could Charlotte pull it off? And scary times. Well, gentlemen, I was really hoping that some of the Western Conference things would be a little bit more settled when we started this podcast. I think we should probably start in the play-in and for the West, where it appears the 9-10 game will be a repeat of a matchup that's going on currently, where the Warriors face the Clippers. Currently, that game is going on in LA with the Warriors and Clippers tied. Do we think either team really stands much of a chance? Are we just taking the Clippers in this matchup?
I'm going to paint a picture. Steph Curry, first quarter, 10 points, looking great. Second quarter, kind of like something in his hamstring. He's like, oh man, kind of hobbles to the bench. He leaves at halftime, doesn't really come back. The Warriors end that game with the worst lineup you've ever seen in your fucking life, and they lose that game on purpose. And it's like all the tanking. This bothers me the most. I know what's going to happen. Golden State's going to pull this. It bothers me to my core because Draymond went on the fucking podium talking about how the Kings taking was so bad, and then we beat them, and now they're going to quit out of the play-in game. I hate the Warriors. They frustrate me so much. I think the Clippers have more reasons to actually try and win, and they also have honestly still the best player in Kawhi Leonard.
I mean, I feel like the only thing that I could say to that is to quote the great James Franco, a real modern day poet from the movie The Interview. They hate us because they ain't us.
Right. You know, of course, right? Only the Warriors could suck all season and then have stuff to say about other teams about how bad they've been.
It's a specific, not it's like mid-cal beef. The Bay versus Sacramento.
It'd be interesting to see Golden State play OKC. Well, I guess that was this a 9-10? Yeah, 9-10.
Yeah, this is
play
the
OKC,
9-10.
So it'd be interesting at least, Steph against the Juggernaut.
Yeah, they still have to then play the either Portland or Phoenix, because whoever comes out of whoever loses the 7-8 matchup. Dylan, any thoughts on your Clippers versus the Warriors?
It's as you mentioned, it's a tie game at the moment. Kawhi Leonard is resting, and so I feel like Kawhi Leonard is probably worth at least like 1 or 2 points. So I'd have to say that the Clippers would be favorites in the play-in game, especially in these sort of single game formats. Having the best player, I don't think we all agree that Kawhi has been like one of the 5, 6, 7 best players in the NBA this year. And the Warriors don't really have any forward defenders. Like, is Al Horford gonna summon all of his energy, all of his foot speed for one last performance and retire? He gives so much in this one last game that he's forced into retirement after this. I don't know, man.
I'm pretty sure he's just going to go back to Boston this offseason. Isn't that his MO? Is he goes somewhere, sucks, goes back to Boston, is rejuvenated?
Another 3 years of playoff dominance for Al Horford after this. He's just cooking right now. He's incubating.
Yeah, having recently watched the Clippers play the Blazers, I really don't think that the 9-10 is needed in the West. As much as it would be nice to get the Clippers, I would love to see either of these teams play OKC, because I like seeing the young champions beat the older teams, the veterans, the established stars, but at this point it's a little bit like, can we get Granddad a Walker? OKC doesn't need to prove their mettle against Kawhi or prove their mettle against Steph Curry again. I think it's time to put them out to pasture, and whoever comes out of this, I think Portland's taking care of business,
like they're doing right now.
To the Sacramento Kings. Yeah,
up by 14, 10 minutes left. I will note just a little lottery thing. It looks like Dallas is going to win and Memphis is going to lose. So those teams will flip in the lottery odds.
Ooh.
It's always difficult when you come into the final game that you need to lose, and then you see that you're up against the Chicago Bulls. Not what you want to see.
No, not at all.
Hey, Dallas needs to keep winning so that way they can try to make the Cooper flag for Depoy case even stronger.
So the Spurs
flags played 10 minutes.
The Spurs are the Spurs are down by 10. Now 12. What does that tell us, Nate?
I'm interested to see when Jokic gets the shepherd's hook pulled off of screen. I believe he has to play 20 minutes this game. He's currently sitting at 18. So he's not played in the fourth quarter just yet, from what I'm seeing. I expect him to come in. I expect the Nuggets to maybe close this out. If they do, they are the 3 seed, and they will face the Spurs in the second round. If they don't, they get to play the Rockets in the first round, which is probably a preferred matchup to the Timberwolves. But they will have to play OKC in the second round.
Wouldn't it be funny and the most Jokic thing ever if coach is like, all right, Nikola, we're going to put you back in for 2 more minutes. And he's like, no, we got this game. It's fine. I'll just chill here.
After all of this, no accolades, no MVP. the rule
Nicola,
fixed immediately.
you need this for All NBA first team. He's like, yeah, I don't care. We're gonna win this game. I'll just keep sitting out.
It's like, am I going to win MVP? Probably not. Doesn't matter.
Wow. We need that, honestly, to fix this rule. How many people would have to get hurt? What name me a player that would have to win MVP before, like, to get the rule fixed midseason?
Scotty Barnes.
It's like, man, everyone's injured. Scotty Barnes is league MVP. Adam Silver's like, actually, we're gonna lower this limit a little bit, guys. What do we think? 55 games. Take it or leave it.
I really wish that the limit was staggered by teams or something. Where it's like, hey, you want to be all NBA first team, fine, 65 games. But like let them be second team, let them be third team. When Cade came back, I was like, oh, great, Cade is now going to hit 64 games on the nose, like one short. And Luka's going to appeal his. Maybe he gets it, maybe he doesn't. And if he gets it, like, cool, we're going to say Luka can do this because he missed a game for the birth of his child, but we're not going to say Cade, whose lung literally collapsed, can play. Like,
you don't get it, Nate. Adam Silver has a vision of a league so convoluted and complex, and no one understands it. No one can follow it. We don't know how the lottery works. We don't know how the all NBA awards work. No one has any fucking clue. There's so many ifs, ands, and buts that it's just upside down.
Yeah. I mean, the 65 game rule was ridiculous from the get-go. It was Adam Silver's solution to get the NBA their money. They had the concerns about rest right as their TV contract was coming up, and so this was his solution to get the TV partners to give them billions of dollars. Of course, it wasn't needed because voters already factored in games played into their voting. If a guy played 55 games but was really good, they would just put him on third team. He wouldn't be MVP. They already accounted for that. If anything, it's made games played less valuable because now it's just a binary of 65 or not 65 in the voters' mind.
Hey, it's not just 65 games. It's the I fucking hate Joel Embiid rule. That's what it was about. Like, Adam Silver had just this hatred towards that poor man, but alas.
Yeah. But I think if there's one benefit of the season is that the ridiculousness of some of the players who are going to miss out probably does sink the 65 game rule. Like, it has to be agreed on by the players and the teams. And I don't see any reason that either of them would want to keep it. And so that at least is probably on its way out.
What other matchups do we have right now? What's set?
Well,
and what could be set?
I think unless your Sacramento Kings are going to play spoiler and we're going to have to rediscuss this a potential Clippers Suns 7-8, we probably know that Phoenix is going to play Portland. I say that as Sacramento cuts the lead to 9, but Aaron, what's your confidence that the Kings won't ruin everything?
Oh, they're so good when it doesn't matter. I'm like, who do they have out there right now? I'll tell you. Achua, Reno, Clifford, McDermott, and Killian Hayes.
Oh, they got Killian out. They're trying to win.
Yeah, no, because Killian's actually pretty good. No, obvious it is free. Okay, 12 points. Yeah. I mean, they're playing their best. Let's say the Kings will lose this. The Kings will lose. It's okay. We don't have to worry about it. And the Suns will play the Blazers. And I think the Suns will win that game. I think the Suns are tough defensively. They have the best player, the best scorer in Devin Booker, and they'll be able to pull out that must win.
Traditional logic would agree with you. I do want to see how Denny Avdia attacks Oso Ighodaro. I think he's going to be able to drop the shoulder into him. I think he's going to have the strength, the downhill ability, as great as Oso has been, and I've really enjoyed a lot of his defense. I think Denny's going to have a great game in that matchup, and I think Portland's got the size advantage with Donovan Clingan out there. Although Malawach got to play some minutes, he got his first start and was quite feisty. I really liked Malawatch in the draft.
Yep.
So
Made me look like an idiot for leaving him unprotected in our expansion draft.
yeah, you can't do that.
I kind of feel emotionally attached to him after
He's on
drafting
your
him.
team
He's kind
after
of like
all.
he's kind of my guy at this point. but
Yeah.
I totally get that. I mean, Denny Avdia, he's not a very good shooter. He just draws free throws for all. These 15 free throws were promised to him 3,000 years ago. He's gonna get those 15 free throws, and it will be a close game. But I do think the Suns will win.
Every time he gets fouled, it's just Dianu.
That's too Jewish for me. I don't know what's going on. That's over.
Bad news for the Suns, who are a top 10 defense, but they are top 10 in the league at fouling. And so it's going to be a lot of free throws for Denny. Dylan Brooks missed the last game of the regular season for Phoenix with a hand injury. He will probably be able to play in the play-in game, but it's not a guarantee. And for all of his great defensive ability, he does still foul.
Kings within 9. Still there.
Still there. I actually,
You guys think-
I'm just going to say this. I would much rather see Portland play San Antonio and Phoenix play OKC. I just feel like the matchups are more fun in that. Getting Donovan versus Victor, very different builds, but two young big men. And I'd love to see Victor get posted up a bit more, or really try to dump it down low, see how that can work out. Getting Scoot on the perimeter. I mean, he's going to get eaten alive by Castle. I mean, both Scoot and Sharp will, but I think that'd be enjoyable. I think that'd be fun to watch young teams with those particular guys play each other. And then Phoenix with Devin Booker going up against Shea. I like that, those two guys going up against each other.
I really appreciate the earnest analysis of those teams of a 4-game series that's coming.
Yeah.
But I do think you're right, just in the sense of, especially with Wembanyama and Kling, the size there kind of intrigues me. But
assuming we get this relatively right, what play-in team, other than the team that plays the Pistons, I'm gonna throw the Pistons out just because of the potential Cade. So if you were going up against the Celtics, the Spurs, or the Thunder, which play-in team will get the most wins?
I think there's a Jason Tatum 6 for 25 shooting game in there. And in Boston, I think Boston might struggle just a little more as they still kind of integrate him back into the playoff space. So whoever they play, I think OKC and the Spurs are going to win all 4 of those games against whoever they play. I'm not going to pretend like it's anything else.
Fair.
And I agree. Jason Tatum could go 6 for 25, but Max Schulger will step in and save them. So I think Boston is almost guaranteed to sweep as well.
All right. Well, at this point, with 6 minutes left, the Nuggets are up 15. I think we can confidently, as confident as anything on today's day of all days, say that the Nuggets will hold on to the magical 3 seed, where they will play the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that knocked them out of the playoffs a few years ago, but a team that Denver holds a 3-1 series lead this year, or over. Kind of familiar territory for us here, isn't it?
They played each other a couple times at this point. Let's see. I think they played not last year. They beat them in 2024, and they played them well in 2023. I remember talking about that at the time. We know Denver's a better team. We know they are. But I feel like Timberwolves always surprise me. They always do, just with Rudy Gobert playoff, whatever, and then Julius Randle added to the mix. They still find their way to the conference finals time and time again. It would be immensely disappointing to have Denver lose in the first round. Man.
Which is makes it strange that they tried to win this game. They really should have tanked this and got Houston, who's an easier first round matchup, and also got OKC, who they match up better against in the second round.
Am I nuts for kind of liking Minnesota?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, guys. They just every year they surprise me. I feel like they really do. I remember they bitched the Suns out a couple years ago with Durant, and I think we all picked Phoenix, and they destroyed them.
Yeah, I think the thing with Denver is Aaron Gordon's been back and been looking good of late. That means they can alternate between Gordon, Brown, Peyton Watson, and Cam Johnson. They got a lot of different looks and speeds and styles of defenders to throw at Anthony Edwards. Meanwhile, Minnesota has Rudy Gobert to defend, and Nikola Jokic. One of your best individual options for a guy to defend Jokic. But we've kind of seen it before, and we've seen Jokic figure it out and pick him apart. It'll be a tough 6 games, but it's going to be Denver in 6, and that should be pretty fair.
That's reasonable. I feel like with Rudy, it's not necessarily about how he guards Jokic. It's about how he guards the rest of the team. Like Jokic is going to have 30 and 12. It's can Gobert limit the layups from from the other Nuggets, and that's kind of going to be the keys there.
And that's the scheme that supposedly figured Nikola Jokic out. Remember the series that the Timberwolves beat them was when Jokic was at his most unstoppable. Teams had no idea how to defend this guy, and the Timberwolves, by having 2 playable big men, they were able to put size on him and still have rim protection off the ball. And with the way that Christian Braun has shot, like you put Rudy Gobert on Christian Braun, and he's able to really take away the rim.
I think I'm in. Wolves in 7. I'm in.
Don't overcomplicate things. Don't overthink things.
I've already done it. It's too late.
Actually, man, I have to go watch this Wolves game. Rocco Zakar. Dylan, help me out here. Rocco Zakarski.
Sure.
18 minutes, 8 points, 9 boards, 2 blocks. Jean Beringer for another 12 points, 10 boards, 5 blocks. Looks the rookie bigs. I mean, maybe they now have a second option. They now have the young bigs that they can throw in there, do some hack at the Jokic, rough them up a bit. No.
Absolutely. Like that's going to be the swing in this series is how many minutes can Rocco Zakarski and Jean Berger get on the floor. Those are the difference makers for the Minnesota
They'll be
Timberwolves.
Household names. I'll be right back.
by the end of the year, household. I don't know. I mean, Terrence Shannon's had some nice moments of late. I would assume it gives them another scoring punch off the bench. I think Minnesota's probably the most pissed that Denver didn't throw away today's game, because they're like, come on, you couldn't have just let us play the Lakers at this point without Luka, with Austin Reeves injured. Like, that's a second round ticket to be punched. But no, now we have to play Denver and Nikola Jokic, whom still has not hit the 20-minute mark today. I think
I told you he doesn't care.
I really think
the coach is like, Jokic, you got to go back in. He's like,
why?
Why would I go in? We're already winning.
God,
wouldn't that be? I mean, this could be the storyline from today. Is Nikola Jokic can't be bothered going back into the game, and therefore is ineligible for All-NBA.
I'm truly just dumbfounded. If this legitimately happens,
they're running out of time.
At this point, we're looking at Luka being ruled ineligible, probably Devin Booker being ruled ineligible, Cade, Anthony Edwards. If Jokic drops off, I might take the ineligible top 5 versus
over the real All-NBA first team.
At least the All-NBA second team. I would pick them.
Mm.
And quite frankly, who's all is going to make the third team at this point? Like, I listened to Zach Lowe make a case is for Karl Anthony Towns, and then he was also like, I had to look at LaMelo Ball. And I'm like, LaMelo Ball.
We're going to have LaMelo Ball and James Harden on the All NBA third team.
God, what is life? All right. So Denver. Wait, where are you going? Are you picking Denver in 6?
I'll go Denver in 7. I think it's a very tough matchup for them, and I don't like it.
Man, you're overcomplicating things. You know this. Denver's just got this.
Yeah, maybe I'll drop it down to Denver in 6.
Thank you.
I still don't like it though.
It'll be a tough fought 6. It'll be one of the more entertaining, harder fought first round series. It actually will be the best Western Conference first round series, because the last one that we have to talk about is the Lakers versus the Houston Rockets. The Rockets, it's of course made a strong late push to maintain relevance, to actually finish the season with it's either a tie or they're one game behind the Lakers, but really a lot of that was kind of easy teams in the schedule. Well, for that late push, since they've lost Steven Adams, they have just not been the same all year. But
since Kevin Durant got exposed and since Kevin Durant publicly denigrated his current teammates, they really haven't been the same. So now we get the one last LeBron versus Kevin Durant matchup.
Yeah. I had not considered that angle. Well, what a bummer for this to be potentially the last series that these two guys play each other.
Hey, I mean, if they can keep it close, like two teams underperforming, Kevin Durant's teammate Tatum, LeBron's two best players are out injured, we could get a truly great LeBron versus Kevin Durant. LeBron doing that turnaround fadeaway, Kevin Durant with the mid-range pull-up, maybe hilariously guarding each other too and doing a terrible job.
Maybe it'll just be like a mutual non-aggression like agreement. They're like, hey, whenever we get switched onto each other, we just take 2 plays off. Neither one of us really does much. Which, like, Durant's like, cool, I'm gonna swing it. It will let Josh Okogie run this possession, and LeBron's like, all right, next one, it's gonna be a Marcus Smart possession. We're just gonna hang out in the corner or in chat.
That would be interesting. Like we do see mutual non-aggression pacts in the NBA where you get these farcical 12-minute starting games where teams will not go small to start games as part of the unspoken agreement between coaches. How about an unspoken agreement between Kevin Durant and LeBron James where neither of them plays defense and they just wait for the ball to come back down the court?
I think that's the way this is going to go down. It's either that or we're going to see multiple consecutive DeAndre Ayton and Şengün mid-post touches, low below the free throw line, turn face up, try to attack. And either way, I'm just depressed at that thought.
This sounds awesome. I can't wait for DeAndre Ayton versus Şengün taking the matchup personally. Well, we also get the best rivalry in the NBA, Clint Capella versus DeAndre Ayton. Man, there's so many great storylines. Kevin Durant versus LeBron James, Clint Capella versus DeAndre Ayton.
Is that locked in now?
All but locked in. I mean, unless San Antonio makes a 12-point comeback in the final 3 minutes, that's what we're looking at, is LeBron versus Durant.
How lucky
in the game
for the Lakers, really. I feel like the Lakers and the Rockets were the two teams that everyone was kind of circling. Like, I want to play the Lakers without Luka. I want to play Houston and their dysfunctional late game offense. And here they are, like, they're both going to get a chance to kind of get ready. And I mean, someone's got to go to the second round.
Mm.
And the Lakers getting past this, do we know? I mean, I think we might have mentioned this earlier, but do we have any timetable on like Luka and Reeves' return?
I think they're going to be lucky to be back by game 3.
Man, I'm gonna
That's-
mean how
that's like the
exciting we get
earliest.
to see LeBron first option hoops one last time. One last time. If he pulls this win out, are we gonna make him the GOAT, Nate? Are we gonna finally accept it?
I think I need to see him get a game off of OKC.
Just one game on his own?
Yeah. Listen, if LeBron drops the 50 piece triple double to get a game off of OKC without Luka and Austin Reeves, with his son on the court.
Yeah, with his son. How old was Michael Jordan Jr. when he or how old was Michael Jordan when his son kind of briefly had an NBA stint?
I don't know. When did Jimmy Butler get drafted?
How far away is that? Oh, it's sorry, Marcus Jordan. He does not have a junior.
Pretty sure he does have a junior.
Oh, does he? But Marcus was the one that was in basketball, or at least good at it. 2012, he finished college in 2012. So Jordan was he's only 10 years away from playing with his kid. That's a lesson to all NBA players. Have your children at 18.
Hey, Jimmy Butler was drafted in
and-
2011, so really only 8 years away.
Okay, I get what you're saying now. Okay. Yes, Dylan.
We are inside of 2 minutes and Nikola Jokic has not checked in.
You're fucking
God.
kidding me.
Jokic just played the fuck with Aubrey.
Oh my god.
This is awesome. This is one of the all-time great. Guy does not give a fuck.
Wow. No fucking way. You're kidding.
He just had to play 2 minutes and he's like, nah.
Do you think that they'll appeal this?
Extraordinary circumstances. I told him to go back in and he said he doesn't need to.
He played 65 games. What do
It's
you
the
mean?
dumbest thing, and it's just I can't believe they've done this. I can't. Adam Silver is gonna go to hell. Not like a basketball hell. He's going to real hell, the actual hell.
Oh my god,
Unbelievable. Oh my god.
this is fantastic. If this really is how this goes down. All right, I'm taking Houston in 6. I hate to pick against my team, but just without Luka, without Reeves, it's not just that the lack of talent there; it's the lack of dimensionality, it's the lack of versatility in other players' games that makes them incredibly figure outable, incredibly scheme againstable. Well, that I think 6 might be being generous to the Lakers at that point.
I agree, and I'll take the Rockets in 5.
Lakers in 7.
My man.
And you should back your own team. Grow a fucking spine, Nate.
I know my team. I've watched them a lot. I feel like 6 was generous. I feel like 6 was backing them.
Without their 2 best players?
I'm like, all right, if they can come back for game 3, we're in this. We have a chance. If LeBron can get one of the first 3 games and then Luka and Reeves can come back.
Luka comes
Maybe.
back in game 3 and gets to get guarded by Amin Thompson.
But right
What a
now
treat.
against Utah, it's the Dalton Connect show. It's 17 points off the bench, 5 for 6 from 3. DeAndre Ayton putting up 22 and 10. Like, I'm supposed to get excited about this? It's not happening. It's a rough day.
I'm trying to
DeAndre-
see if
DeAndre Ayton only having 22 and 10 on Oscar Tshiebwe is probably more of a negative than a positive.
And Sheedway putting up 29 and 17 on him.
Oscar Tshiebwe outplayed DeAndre Ayton. This is not a good sign.
All right, gentlemen, any final takes before we get off and frantically start trying to confirm if Jokic just made himself ineligible for any awards?
No one's tweeting about it.
Was the minutes limit 15? Did you
No,
only?
I thought it was. Oh yeah, I guess 18 was all. StatMuse tweeted that he was eligible at 18.
That doesn't seem real.
I thought it was 20. See,
I thought it was
this is like three basketball obsessed idiots can't figure out the NBA's like accolade system. What does the average fan think of this? What is just like a guy who's like, oh yeah, I kind of pay attention to it. He's getting blown out of the water by this shit. Like all we care about is basketball, and I can't figure out how the accolades are working.
Okay, the exact rule is that players must play at least 20 minutes in 65 games, though they get 2 games in which they only have to play 15 minutes.
The fuck is the point of it? What's the point of it if it's 2 random games where you get to play 15 minutes? I can't do this.
Oh man. Welcome to Adam Silver's NBA where nobody can figure out what's going on. I can't wait for the I can't wait for the standings to become more convoluted. Like I can't wait till 2032 and Adam Silver's NBA is so messed up that we don't even know who won the championship.
That's good.
Like but
say,
they did win Game 7, but they didn't have a point differential above 3.5 in NBA Cup games, which makes them ineligible, and therefore it goes to the tiebreaker, which is division record.
We don't know the divisions either. Figure that one out.
And no one knows who the divisions are.
Okay, yeah, this is just his second game below 20 minutes.
So it's the 20-minute rule, but there's also 250. It's like, how do they? I just like imagine being in that meeting and you're like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, lunch is in 20 minutes. Can we wrap this up? Whatever, Adam. Just, whatever you write down on whiteboard's fine. Like, who's coming up with this?
I fully just believe that someone in Denver believed it was 20 minutes. And then as soon as they found out that it was like StatMuse tweeted out when he crossed the 15-minute marker, it took them 3 minutes to recognize it. And they're like, wait, you only need 15? Jokic, get out of here. He's like, but I need 2 more minutes. And they're like, no, you only need 15. He's like, you played me 3 more minutes than I needed to play.
I like the Nikola Jokic accent. Really immersive.
Just ridiculousness. All right, we have a little bit of time here at the end. The Red Bull hasn't quite worn off yet. Doc Rivers, first coach to get fired and make the Hall of Fame in the same month, most likely.
It's interesting that coincides with the time that Carson's beef with DeMar DeRozan has occurred, because it is kind of similar where DeMar DeRozan is going to finish most likely as a top 10 all-time scorer, and Doc Rivers is among the winningest coaches in the NBA, and it provides this interesting question of how do we deal with sustained okayness, like is being okay for many years worthy of consideration when DeMar DeRozan makes the NBA Hall of Fame as well.
I like Doc's case more than DeMar's. So I've kind of accepted DeMar's over the years as he's climbed the all-time scoring leader. I'm not into it in terms of like, all right, can we get like the best players at their best in here? But I mean, he probably will be top 10 in scoring at some point, which is just insanity. I made a video a while back saying like, you guys all need to mentally prepare for the Doc Rivers Hall of Fame induction because that's coming. He is currently 6th in all-time coaching wins. He has more wins than George Karl, Phil Jackson, Rick Carlisle, Brett Auerbach. Of all the top 15 coaches in wins, all of them are in the Hall of Fame except for 2, which is Rick Carlisle and who's currently coaching, and then Doc Rivers. And then one more, Dick Motta, who is below 500. It'd be like the outlier below outliers if he didn't get in. Every single coach that's been that successful has gotten in. He has more playoff wins than Red Auerbach, who won like 7 championships. Like he has the case.
Well, that's because the playoffs were only 2 rounds. Come on, if you started throwing in more teams, like if the Chicago Packers were a team sooner, he could have really racked up extra wins.
He has more playoff wins than Eric fucking Spoelstra and Steve Kerr.
How many NBA Cup wins did Red Auerbach get?
Oh, see, that's Adam Silver's NBA. You guys are asking that question, but
yeah. I've accepted Doc. Is he good at his job? No. Did he figure it out enough to get a title? Yes. I will forever blame Doc for Tracy McGrady blowing the 3-1 lead by celebrating the fact that they had just won the series and then finding out that it was actually a best of 7. Like, you gotta prepare your players better. But I like juxtaposing it with DeMar DeRozan, because when Aaron and I started the top 500, we were very much prime over longevity, and I still think like peak over longevity is important, but I think we were probably too heavy on the peak over longevity scale. Like, I think we went like 80-20. I think it's more like a 60-40 ish type split now, or just the sustained greatness or sustained very goodness of DeMar DeRozan is impressive. Is his body didn't break down. He continued to play with younger legs coming into the league, continued to put up efficient seasons. I think this is one of DeMar's most efficient years. And like Doc, yeah, he's figured out ways to get 40 wins almost every year. It's fine.
There's no way he's bad at this, though. I think there is a point. When do we think that Doc Rivers became bad at his job? Because he won 50 games 10 times. Like, that's a lot of times to do that. Let's see, 2009, 2008, he got 66, and he would win 50 basically almost every year except for 2 for the next 10 years, essentially. And even then, he got to 49 twice, 50 again in Philly twice. Like, he could win a lot of games. It's just the end of the season stuff. Like, when do we feel like Doc Rivers became a bad coach?
Well, it's interesting that we don't really have the discussion on, like, we don't consider coaching when we consider how much the NBA has changed. Like, if you grabbed a player off Doc Rivers' 08 team and put them in the NBA at the moment, like, they'd, I'm not talking about the best players, but like, they'd fucking suck. Like, the game is so much different. And so to have this guy who peaked almost 20 years ago, like, of course there's going to be like, the game changes a lot, and as much as you might as a coach try to keep up, like, eventually it's going to surpass you, and kind of feel like that happened with Doc.
I feel like that had always happened with Doc. Like, Doc, even at Doc's peak of coaching, Doc was never an X's and O's guy. Doc always had X's and O's guys on his staff. And what Doc was good at was communication and getting the players to buy in and be a part of his team. He ran the Clippers as well. He figured them out, what made each guy tick, how to integrate them, how to navigate the Donald Sterling mess of it all. And then when he gets to, or before that in Boston, that's what all of the guys liked, is that he came in, he treated them professionally. They were a part of the team. And I think that is a way to have greater long-term success, is to be a player's guy than be the smartest X's and O's guys. Because once you put something in paper and someone can watch it on film, they can steal your X's and O's. No one runs the triangle today, but every team has stolen the good parts of the triangle and incorporated three-point shooting to it. Maybe not everyone can do what Doc did with the players and having those meetings, being invited to the players only meeting in the bubble. Like, Doc had a special place in players' hearts.
Yeah, and like, having the buy-in from your players is legitimately worth 20 wins a year. We've seen really talented teams with who didn't believe in their coach, massively underperform. We've people try to take away the credit for Doc's one championship by saying he had these three great players. Well, getting three great players to buy in and to play together and to be on the same page actually is difficult. There are plenty of, especially if you look at the modern examples of times where you get three great players together and they fucking suck because they are not all on the same page. And so, as you said, Nate, Doc is not an X's and O's guy. He's a getting players to believe and being able to connect with players. And that's his greatest skill.
That's a great point. Really, and it's why he coached forever and got so many opportunities for so long in so many different places. And that's why he's a first ballot Hall of Famer like he is, where first ballot? I'm not sure how that works. Everyone likes him. He's immensely. He's been in media for years, and like the Clippers are kind of ho hum on him from 10 years ago. But for the most part, like everyone's like, yeah, Doc Rivers like treating me really well, and the higher ups loved him.
Yeah, that's sometimes all you need. Well, gentlemen, the Red Bull is starting to wear off. Aaron, where can the people find you?
Possible Chairs on TikTok, Possible Chairs on Twitter, my Patreon for all the lists that me and Nate and Dylan two times made. Go check them out.
Dylan, where can the people find you?
Every week on the Hoops Temple podcast and twice on Aaron's Patreon. He does give me, he's monitoring the views. He does give me kickback for that. So in case you guys are worried, I do get a cut.
You can find me, Nate_Hoops Temple on TikTok and YouTube. You can email the show, hoopstemple@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.